You know what that means, right?
Lupica time, baby.
That's the only time. The only time. Now let's bring in the great Mike Lupica of the New York Daily News, MLB.com, an esteemed author, best-selling New York Times author. He does it all. And also just a splendid human being. Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Good afternoon, guys. How are you guys today?
Oh, you kidding me?
Just terrific. Soto, what would you do? Would you say, what do you need? And just give him it?
You mean if I'm Hal?
Hal or Cohen?
Well, it's different to be Hal than to be Cohen. It's funny, Michael, because you remember there was a time when people in baseball used to say, well, there's money and then there's Yankee money. Well, now there's money and then there's Cohen money,
right.
Okay? And so I don't know. Listen, he's 26 years old. He's coming off a superb year. He's shown that he could win in Washington. He nearly won here. It's interesting that he did leave the Padres, and the Padres got better. It's money. Michael, you've seen me write about this. We've talked about this before. The money we will be talking about here won't affect a single day of the rest of Juan Soto's life. This is going to be about keeping score.
Right.
And I see what other people are now referencing, something I've been referencing for a long time. Why did Alex get 252? Because it was exactly twice what Kevin Garnett had gotten from the T-Wolves in another sport, which was the biggest contract at that point. So I believe that Scott Boras is going to look to crack the $700 million mark, because that's what Soto got. And he may be just perverse enough to want 720 because that's twice what Aaron Judge got. And I don't think Hal will pay $700 million for a baseball player. I think Steve Cohen might. But, guys, the unknowable thing here is what David Stearns thinks about all this. Because Cohen is not going to operate in a vacuum no matter how much money he has. And Stearns has never had this kind of money to throw around working in Milwaukee. So he may have a vision of building a Mets that doesn't involve Juan Soto. It's going to be a really fun story.
Yeah, and you're right that obviously the difference between the Mets and the Yankees are the money that Cohen has, but also I'm sure there's a world where Stearns is like, I don't know if this makes us better, but the question is, does Cohen look at it and say, it does move the needle for us attendance-wise. It does move the needle for us as far as how we're perceived within the market, where Cohen says, all right, we might be able to do better and get things a little bit cheaper in another direction, but Soto opens doors for us financially. Is that something that Cohen thinks about?
Yeah, and the Dodgers are in their league. It's like being the Knicks with the Celtics in your conference, okay? So that they've got to get past the Dodgers to get to where they want to go. And the reality is they played the Dodgers harder and better and tougher than the Yankees did. And Cohen knows that this is a star place. He saw how his star, Francisco Lindor, lit up his fan base and the team and the city this year, because even though he didn't hit 58 home runs, he lit up his side of baseball in New York in a way that was different, but just as entertaining as what Judge was doing. So this, to me, is shaping up to be a great story, except we don't know if the Mets are actually going to go after him. We think they are. You can make a case that it would be crazy for them not to, but we actually don't know if Uncle Steve is filling a big bag full of money and is going to throw it at Juan Soto.
I will tell you this, and we mentioned this a little earlier. I want to get your take on it. If the Mets really think that this is the guy, this is the cat's meow, we have to have him, then they simply can't be outbid because of Cohen's money. I mean, if that's really the guy, I don't even think the Dodgers could outbid Cohen, and the Yankees won't. So it's going to be a real I don't know if they'll come out and say, this is the guy we really want. But if he goes after him, Mike, and doesn't get him, it's a bad look.
Michael, here's an example that's completely different from another sport. But when Steve Ballmer paid $2 billion for the Clips, That nobody thought that was the ceiling at that time, but he wanted the basketball team, and he said, "Let's close down the contest line." And he threw $2 billion on the table, and then he had the Clippers. So if Steve Cohen decides to money whip Juan Soto, then it's going to be tough for anybody to outbid him. But, he tried to didn't both our teams try to money whip Yamamoto, and neither one of them walked away with him.
Well, it's hard. I keep saying this, too. It's hard to battle the weather in L.A. I think even Cashman said that when they were meeting with Yamamoto. He turned to Boone and said, how do we counteract this? There's no way. So if the Japanese players don't want to, they don't care about playing with each other, they'll get Sasaki. And if Soto doesn't mind being far from the Dominican Republic, they'll get Soto if they want him.
And in addition to everything else, the Dodgers were so much better in so many different ways. And again, they played an incredibly close game one, and it turned on one pitch, and then we saw what happened in the top of the fifth of game five. Okay, but they also have better accountants. They built a better mousetrap with the Ohtani contract, which was absolutely brilliant because it does free them up if they want to go after Soto. And I'm not convinced that they won't go after Soto because they want to do this for a long time. They've become one kind of dynasty in baseball that doesn't fit the old definition, but I think fits a modern definition of dynasty because of all the winning they've done. But I think now that they've had a taste, I think that they want to create a scenario for themselves with smart management and big money that turns them into Torrey's Yankees at the end of the 1990s.
Speaking of all the winning, the Jets are back to their winning ways, Mike. Were you?
Oh wait, you were being serious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, half serious. Were you?
No, not winning ways. Plural, winning ways.
Yeah, they found a
singular.
They found a sort of winning way last Thursday. Did you take anything away from that fumbling, bumbling win? And do you give them any chance against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals this weekend?
Oh, I think obviously they have a chance. I was talking to my sports center a little while ago, but if I were betting this game, I actually would be betting on the home team on Sunday. This to me is a great measuring stick of where they are off of one win and where they might end up. Because if we've all looked at the schedule, it does get more favorable to them. This is a pretty good game for them to win on Sunday. Because now you're 4-6, and you're still way behind the Bills. If the Bills have only lost 2 games, but we're going to find out starting Sunday just how much that kid making that catch in that situation might have saved the season. Because you can't say he saved the season until they do something more than win the one game. But and I listen, the one thing that shocked me about that game now was that the Jets won. How bad the Texans looked. I mean, watching that game, did he look anything like the C.J. Stroud? And I understand the injuries and all that other stuff. This is like a Daniel Jones bad performance from him, where he was throwing the ball all over the place. He was making bad decisions. So it's not like the Jets beat the 27 Yankees the other night, but they got themselves some oxygen, and now we see what they're going to do with it. Because you know how it is with the Jets. It's like a bad movie that you can't walk out of, because it's riveting in a way. And imagine how excited Jets fans were to hear that Woody might get his old job back as ambassador to the Court of St. James. I mean, they got to win, and then to get news like that, I mean, it's time for the party.
Well, he already has the title, so I mean, it's nothing has to change. He's Ambassador Johnson.
When you say Ambassador Woody, doesn't it sound like it's a Toy Story thing, though?
Or something dirty.
Ambassador Johnson?
Hey, no, Michael.
That's so base, right? This is Mike Lupica we're talking to here.
But it's Michael K. Yeah, you know how I roll.
Yeah, I do.
We kind of counter each other.
Dable has already announced that Daniel Jones is his quarterback in Germany against Carolina. But no matter how this game goes on Sunday, how do you see they proceed moving forward? Just continue to play Daniel Jones, or at some point when you're really playing for next year, do we see DeVito? Do we see Locke? How do you think they're going to handle the rest of the year?
There's no point in benching him. Drew Locke is not an alternative. I mean, Tyrod Taylor would have been much more of an alternative than Drew Locke. And Tommy DeVito he's just a nice story, but he's not going to do even what he did last year. Here's my question about the Giants, and I say this to my Giant fan friends all the time, some of whom I'm related to. Okay, it's kind of fun to wail on the Jets. They're just fun. It's fun. It's entertaining to beat on the Jets. There's no fun in doing it with it's kicking the Giants right now is like kicking a puppy or something. And here's my question about the Giants: when you look at them, can you see a team that is a star quarterback away from them being something?
No.
I don't think so.
But better.
Better, but
it's not like if you plugged in. All right, even Russell Wilson. Okay, the Russell Wilson we've seen since he got the starting job in Pittsburgh. Okay, if you put him on the Giants, and by the way, the Giants had the same shot at him that everybody else had, but they won't pull the plug on this kid. But even with him playing well, they're nothing more than a middle-of-the-road team. And, I always say this. You're either moving towards the Lombardi Trophy or you're moving away from it. They've been moving away from it for a long time. And my worst fears have been real. And again, I don't want to pick on Daniel Jones. He seems like a nice kid, and he shows you flashes sometimes. But when he drops the ball and throws it away at the end, that's who he is, and it's who he's always been. And they're going to end up having wasted 6 years. 6 years of the Giants fans having to wait for this. And you look at the Cardinals. We were just talking about the Cardinals, right? They pulled the plug on Josh Rosen after 1 year. 1 year. Because they saw that they had a chance to go get Kyler Murray. And to bring this full circle with the Giants, it looks like they're going to be just not quite bad enough to get Cam Ward or somebody like that in the next draft, because that's the best scenario for the Giants, actually. Or maybe they go and become the champions of Germany, because God knows they should be the champions of something.
Well, that's, we had a caller before that's getting on because he thought the Giants should have tanked to get a better quarterback last year. I just don't believe in tanking. Play it out. Whatever happens, happens.
No, I'm not saying tank, Johnny. I'm saying that the best thing to happen to them
absolutely
would be to just keep losing.
But to answer your question is, so they did get Daniels in the draft. They'd be better than 2-7, but I don't know if they'd be 7-2 like Washington is, because they don't have a secondary and they're not particularly deep offensively. So I don't know that they'd be better at quarterback, but there's a lot of other things. And also, we need to find out, do they have a general manager? Because I think that's still up for grabs. I think they've got the coach, but as you said, good coaches don't go 3-4-13 to get a top pick. So I guess the best case scenario is, can they play well enough to lose the rest of the year where you feel good about the head coach but are still in a position to draft a quarterback? Is there a world where that exists?
No, Johnny, you made a great point. Here's a great point. And we talk about quarterback all the time with the Giants. But when I was talking to my sports editor, Kyle Wagner, a little while ago, he says, how about cornerbacks? Where are the cornerbacks with the Giants right now? Because they got torched by the Commanders last week. And so I don't see enough pieces in place for Giants fans to be optimistic. And the other problem is they can't even win a home game. Okay? Mm-hmm. They can't win a game in the big ugly gray bowl. And I guess I would have to look this up, but I wonder when the last time it was that they hadn't won a home game by November.
What do you think's the best story in the NFL right now? What do you follow? Because obviously these two teams aren't it. So what's intriguing?
Oh my God, no. The 5 best stories are the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs and watching Patrick Mahomes play football constantly remind me why I love sports and why I love being a sports fan and why I love the NFL. Watching him, I don't know what Todd Bowles was thinking. You got to go for 2.
Of course.
You got a chance to you got a chance to knock off the king. It was a variation. It's not the exact same thing, obviously, of Shanahan taking the ball in the Super Bowl and just possibly creating a situation where the ball ends up in Patrick's hands at the end, okay? And the only time it doesn't work is when he only had, 28 seconds the other night. And if DeAndre Hopkins had been looking the right way, I'm not sure they wouldn't have gone down then and kicked a field goal to win the game. I love watching the Chiefs play. They have made, we just came off a World Series with New York and L.A. and the Dodgers and the Yankees and blah, blah, blah. They have made Kansas City, Missouri, the center, the capital of the sports universe. And he's got a perfect wingman in Travis Kelce, who catches 13 points. But watching this kid play and watch him move inexorably, I believe, to being absolutely in the GOAT conversation with Tom Brady, to me, it is an absolute blast every week.
I still think they could be had. I know they're undefeated. It's going to be really hard for them to go back a third straight time, win it a third time. I don't know if it's Baltimore. I don't know if it's Buffalo. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't see them doing it again.
I think they're going back to the big game, and right now it looks like the most entertaining game would be against the Detroit Lions. I just think they're all that. They have a coach who is moving really rapidly into the all-time conversation if he's not there already. They got this kid, and if he gets to 4 Super Bowls at this age, at this point in his career, look out, Tom Brady.
Is it true? I mean, in closing, is it true that when you work out the Taylor Swift songs?
Where did you hear that?
I'm just asking.
You could. I'm married to someone named Taylor.
Yes, and she's very swift. Oh
God! Oh my God!
That's Scott Boras, man.
You know what? This is just obviously World Series fatigue. He's not come out.
He's not himself.
He's not himself. But you know what? That's why we're here for him.
So the question goes unanswered. We don't know if you work out the Taylor Swift.
No, of course not. I couldn't tell you the name of one song.
Really?
No.
Your kids must know.
No, as time goes by, no, I have no idea. No, I don't. I couldn't. No, well, Hannah could, but no, I have. No. All right, I'll tell you this, and then we'll go. Okay. Every time I'd be in the car with one of my boys, with like here in high school, we're riding around, and a rap song would come on. Zach or Alex or Chris would say, "You know who that is, Dad?" And I would my default answer was always Lil Wayne.
How'd you do? How'd you do percentage-wise?
No, and I was saying it only took like 5 or 6 rides for them to say, "Oh my God, it is Lil Wayne." I said, "See, I know my rap music."
Now, I'm curious. Did you go Little Wayne or did you go Lil Wayne?
Lil Wayne.
He knows what he did. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
No,
wait. No. Okay, yeah. And by the way, my next choice would have been, and wait for this now, 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Wow.
Lil Wayne or 50.
And we do accept 50 Cent as well.
Yeah, I demand 50. See, Mike, as a guy who comes from the hip-hop world, I'm always quick to tell people who may be a little bit outside of it, no one within the culture actually says 50. It's like only news anchors that say that.
And Mike Lupica.
Yeah, or
Mike
me.
Lupica. Yeah.
Or me.
He was one of the sports reporters. So,
and now people are going to say, wait, Mike called him 50. So if Mike called him 50, that's empowering me to call him 50.
Now we have to choose next Wednesday. The music that comes in when you come on, it's either going to be Lil Wayne,
yeah,
or Fitty.
That has to be.
Yeah.
And you'd have to tell him.
Then you have to ask me.
Yeah.
Which one it was? Right.
Guess which one it is. It's going to be a new game. It's going to sweep the world.
By the way, I looked it up. The last time the Giants had not won a game at home until November was 2018. However, they were 0-4. I'm still in the process of seeing the last time they were 0-5 at home.
But isn't it amazing, Mike, that this is like all-time bad, and the last time was 2018. They've had quite a bad run.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I actually now think of 2018 as the good old days.
Right. It's not like the Yale Bowl. We're talking 2018, where they actually played in the Venetian blind, so it's awful. Awful.
It's just not good.
All right, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
That's Mike Lupica.
That's so much fun every week. It really, it might be.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the greatest thing that Peter's ever done for this show.
Thank you.
I think you'd accept
As if
that,
you
right?
have a lot of things to choose
Well, you
from.
know
but that's
what?
the way
That's
you
not.
wanted to take it.
Right.
But I'm just making the statement. I'm not going to dive any deeper into it. It's the best thing Peter's ever done for this show. And it's
Well, all right,
tremendous.
so I want to ask you, because I find this stuff interesting. I know you do lists. Give me the second best thing he's done for the show.
Well, I know it's going to be a bone of contention for you, Michael.
Right.
Would be ENN. Now, I know that maybe it was your thought, but he made it his own.
No,
so
ENN's
ENN
probably,
would be in the top. But that'd probably be 2 for me.
You don't have another 3, do you? I mean, you can't do a top 5 is what I'm saying.
The fact that we alternate going for coffee.
That's
that
it?
would be,
Right to the
I
coffee.
wouldn't say it's 3, but I think it's in the top 5.
Wow.
You know, I felt very hurt today. You went for the coffee. You didn't ask me if I wanted an iced tea. You always ask.
That's always it was
I thought
Peter's
about
turn.
it. I thought
it was
about it.
Peter's turn.
I thought about it.
And
I moved on. It was the middle of the
I
segment.
was really in the mood for
Really?
an iced tea.
For an
too.
iced tea?
Yeah. But don't worry about
You
it.
want me to go down the street and get you one?
No.
Right down the street.
Absolutely.
I
not.
could. You
No,
want to
I-
buy and I'll fly?
No. You guys had your coffee. I'm good. You know what? It jumped out at me, Peter.
Huh.
So he went to Starbucks.
Yeah.
They've got the holiday cups out already.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Look at that.
It's November.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Christmas.
thing. There's a channel on Sirius XM. I think it's channel 79, but that's where the Billy Joel channel,
Yeah.
all the temporary channels are, right? November 1st, it was Holly.
You know how it goes.
I don't like it.
I can't stand the fact that Billy Joel's not a year-round channel.
I don't get
It's
it.
not right.
I don't understand it.
I'm gonna.
And nobody has a good reason
Nancy's
for
going
it.
to get really mad at me because she's a huge fan and she doesn't love Billy Joel.
Right.
But Tom Petty's got a channel. If Tom Petty's got a channel, Billy Joel should. Now, that's not to disparage Tom Petty.
No, I get it.
But I'm sorry.
Kelly Clarkson has a channel.
Well, I get for a certain demographic, but you're talking
Well,
Pearl Jam's got a channel, the Grateful Dead
the
have
Beatles.
a channel. The Beatles. Billy Joel's right there that he can have his own
There must be a
channel.
reason.
There's got to be a reason. Anthony, that's your job, to find out why SiriusXM does not have Billy Joel 12 months a year.
That and if you could also, while you're on that track, find out why Michael was never able to get him on center stage. That seemed like such a natural, right? New York guy, you're a huge fan.
There were 3 people I really wanted that couldn't get.
Well, Billy Joel, Bruce.
2.
Oh, we talked about this before.
Because you got George. Is
Yep.
it a sports guy or no?
No, it was an entertainment. Well, now it slipped my mind.
Oh, he doesn't even know
So
who
it
it
was
is.
Billy Joel. It was Bruce. Oh, and Seinfeld.
And the
Well, he's
really,
a
they're
Met
all
fan.
but they're. Oh my God! What, so the Yankees would say no?
No. I think he would say
He wouldn't
no.
care enough.
If
do
it
you
was
mean?
center stage with Gary Cohen, maybe he comes on.
What are you, Don? What's the?
I don't know, but so it's off the table that yes would say no because he's a Met fan.
No, absolutely
Okay,
not.
I'm just
Oh,
asking.
no, that's
Oh,
I can't
no.
ask the
No,
question.
no.
Everybody in their
Such
car
a-
was asking the question.
No one thought that.
No.
You're an
No
evil
one thought
person.
that. Nobody in there thought that.
No, there are other
right.
other Met fans who
But
came on the
so
show.
one's from Jersey and the other 2 are from New York. I mean, they could. I'm sure Jerry would be able to walk to the studio.
But
And
I don't think
one
he'd
of
have
his
any
best
interest.
friends in the world had a great time on the show. Larry David.
Can I have an observation about Larry?
Sure.
I think it's very one-sided, your relationship. He doesn't do a lot for you.
Well,
I don't need people to do things.
No,
for
I
me.
get it.
That's
but
not who he is.
But you know what? He can step up a little bit. The way you promote his stuff, the way you love him and talk about it, it's very one-sided.
He doesn't need me.
But that's not what friendship's supposed to be about.
But I don't need anything from him. We're good.
But don't you feel it's one-sided, Peter? The favors are all going
a bit, but it's
No,
okay. But but to be honest, he's a gargantuan star.
Right.
He came in and did our show, sat here for an hour with us.
Yeah. And also, he did something for a friend of mine.
He did something.
He took a picture with you, and that meant a lot to me.
Aw.
Yeah, you were at the show at the Y, and he took a picture. He couldn't have been more gracious. That means a lot to me that somebody treats my friend nicely.
But we'd already, at that point, can I be honest, by the time we took the picture, him and I, we'd connected already. That wasn't even a favor for
because of me.
Yeah, but he wasn't, at that point, he had to say yes.
But with no
already hung
picture,
out.
There's no proof.
That's right.
We did have, well, that's not true. The whole thing was on yes.
No, it wasn't.
No, our whole experience with him that day. Even if I didn't get the picture, although I love the picture, it's a delight.
Right.
The whole experience was on video and audio.
You had Billy Crystal?
Of course.
Twice. Of course he has.
I'm trying to just listen.
Billy Crystal was great.
You know, but it's
I don't
center
think
stage is like with I Love Lucy. It's been a while since
now
it's
listen.
been on.
Wow, really?
Now,
is that where you went?
But I'll tell you this about Seinfeld. At this point, he'd do an interview at the opening of an envelope. At that time, he was not doing a lot of interviews.
Yeah,
I don't think he would do
We
it.
got to bring back center stage.
Well, you know,
Who do I talk to?
I'll give you a couple of names.
All right,
I'll give you a couple of names that are against that. It was a great show. It wasn't a good show. It was a great show.
Not good, great.
Not good, great. Emmy nominated.
Well, so I'm saying, I think the only thing
Actually won an Emmy.
The only two things better. I wouldn't even say that. The Yankees and center stage, and then our show. The Yankees, that's just there wouldn't be a network without them. They've got to be
It would just
number
be
one.
S.
Well,
Yeah, that's not
It would be
entertainment and sports.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
We do love entertainment and sports.
But we love Yankees more. All right,
We
so.
love